What is going on, everybody? So real quick, we had a customer who ended up having a serious issue on their Red Sea Peninsula style tank. And what I mean by serious issue is here at the seams, we started noticing sand here. And basically, long story short, the seams are starting to separate on this aquarium. So you can see right here, you got some air trapped in there. And it goes all the way down to here, some sand getting in there. Anyways, could be potential disaster, because what happens is eventually these seams will give away and you'll start getting drippage here, or worst case scenario, this tank is falling apart, right? So we had to move relatively quick because we didn't want to get a bunch of water on their beautiful wood floors. So we ended up breaking down the whole peninsula style tank, right? We broke down this whole aquarium, took everything out. Now, the hopes were that we were going to be able to replace the top and still be able to keep the stand, just replace the display tank, order a new one from Red Sea. Unfortunately, this model of Red Sea, we were not able to get the display tank for it, which makes this stand completely useless. So we weren't able to, basically just the whole tank was it was done, right? We were hoping to save the stand and the sump and just get a new tank on top of it for, a decent price, but unfortunately that wasn't able to happen. On top of that, they had just overlapped their 3-year warranty, so the tank wasn't even covered, which was very frustrating for the customer because, again, they have a bunch of fish and they were restarting their tank and they were really looking forward to it, and they love this aquarium. But Red Sea was able to give them a very nice discount on the newer model right here, which we will be setting up relatively soon. And by soon, I mean within hopefully the next week or so. But in the meantime, we had a bunch of fish, we had a bunch of coral, we had a bunch of livestock that had nowhere to go because this tank right here was no longer able to be used. So we had to come up with something really fast, which I'm gonna show you right now. Let's go inside. All right, so here we are, and this is the 70-gallon that we had to set up really quick. It's nothing too fancy. It's just a hang on the back filter, but this is what we had. We were able to get quickly, and we needed to be able to have these fish in something because we had to break down that tank because that was becoming a major issue. So we were able to set up a 75-gallon tank here, and so far the corals are holding tight. Now again, this is just run by a hang on the back filter. And we didn't get to put all the rock that we wanted to, but we put as much rock in here as would be comfortable. But all the corals look really good. You can tell by just looking at them here. They're all big. They're out. Their polyps are extended. They look healthy. So that's a good sign. And we use as much of the sand from the old tank as possible. All the fish look really good considering how stressful the actual whole move was. It was a lot of stress on all these animals, and anytime you move fish and break them down from and have to catch them and stuff, it's incredibly stressful. So I'm a little bit worried about going forward and taking them out again and putting them in another tank, but that's kind of what we have to do. I love this puffer. He's so curious all the time. He's looking great. That puffer's doing fantastic. So far, yeah, it's gone good. And I was mostly concerned how the corals would do, but look at this acan. Look how big and fluffy that is. Still got coralline algae growth growing. Stuff is still looking healthy. Polyps are extended on the acan. So I would say after, the situation could have been a lot worse. And this is just running off a Seachem tidal filter. This whole tank, and I think we have a power head in here too, moving water. So yeah, I mean, we still got the old Red Sea lights on it, so that obviously helps. But for the most part, this is the most basic, simple setup, but it's working so far. Now, like I said, we have this new aquarium that's going to be set up, and it's actually 10 gallons bigger, which is awesome. More room for the fish. Peninsula style tank, just like this one. We're going to go ahead and just toss this one out. Can't wait to set this up. I know it's going to look great. Now, I have to wait for that, but luckily you guys don't. So I'm going to go ahead and teleport you guys to the future, and you can see what the tank looks like now. So here we are, finally the tank is set up. It was a bit of a task, but this tank looks amazing. I'm really happy with the way this has turned out. I love the scape. Tommy of Tanknicians did an amazing job scaping the tank. I think it's really nice. As far as livestock goes, Cleaner shrimp doing good, but just take a look at this Duncan coral right there. Look at that. Look at the polyp extension on that thing. Amazing. Canyon tree up, straight up and down. Polyps are out. Tank is really, you know, for just starting back up is really dialed in. Mushrooms out. It's everything looks good. Now there's a little bit of diatoms in the sand, but like we just set this tank up, so there's gonna be, you know, the balance, the chemistry is gonna be a bit off, but the fact that the corals, the zoas are out and all that stuff is just such a great sign to me. Ganyapora out and stretched out, looks great. Coralline algae still growing on the rocks. Now we took the existing rock that was in the 75 gallons and we added it, added the old rock that was in the tank back into the aquarium. So it's all its original rock. Coralline algae still there growing. Acanth still doing good. I'm not surprised that we do have a little bit of dusting, a little bit of cyano and diatoms. That's not shocking to me, and we'll make the adjustments to solve that problem, and that just comes with tank maturity. We'll get rid of all those algae. You know, the important thing is to just let everybody just kind of chill. The coral, the fish, you know, they've been moved around, bounced around. It's a lot of stress. The fact that we haven't lost more is a huge win in my book. Get to monitor the cyano-diatom bloom here, but honestly, I think that the longer the tank goes, the better. That little plate coral right there was almost dead. It is almost fully back. That's insane. I've never known a plate coral to do that. Hammer coral, look at the color on that thing. Looks great. So after everything this tank went through, after everything that we had to deal with the switches, the constant switches, and then waiting for the Red Sea to come in and setting the Red Sea up, the fact that all these fish are looking great, the coral have been hanging on, man, that's such a huge win right now. And it was a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, but you know, you see the finish line and this is it. Now, future plans for this tank, this area right here is going to be our SPS area. So we're going to put our sticks there, our acros and things like that, because there's a really good flow right there and it's a little bit higher. It's closer to the lighting, so we can get some good par there. This tank has like a lot more flow than it had before. Over here, this is where the torch garden is going to be. And over to the right here is where the hammer garden is going to be. So we have a bit of a nice little Euphilia garden going on there. Then down below will be some encrusting corals, some leptos, some Cephastrias, things like that. 8 cans we'll put down there. But I just love the way Tommy of Tanknicians scaped this tank. You got the high, you got the separation between each little rock area, kind of, you know, open space here for fish to swim and to be able to see in the tank clear. Being that this is a peninsula style tank, I just love the way it's scaped. Again, like, I'm not worried about the sand. I'm not worried about the diatoms. That will all come in time. We'll dose nitrate in here. We'll get the nutrient levels where they need to be. You know, we'll be here. We're here once every 2 weeks for service. So, you know, I think it'll all work out. But I think we're safe to put coral in here and start putting a lot more coral in here. I do think the tank is getting dialed in relatively quick, as you can see by the coral that's in the tank already. Now this system, this is the Red Sea G2 700 Peninsula style tank, and just look, this thing is built like an absolute tank. Red Sea has definitely learned from their past tanks. This thing is thick glass, it's braced on the inside. I love down here, this little air compartment area, we put the ATO. I like that Red Sea is no longer going with the gravity flow ATOs, and that they actually came out with Red Sea actually came out with their own automatic top-offs. Love this little electrical area over here, kind of organize your wiring and things like that. Yeah, this tank is really dope. And like I said, there's no, I like that the ATO is not in this compartment anymore. It's easier to get into the sump and be able to work into the sump. This area right here will be used for refugium. Definitely think this is an upgrade. Also, the return section is over there, but instead of 2 filter stocks now, we have 4. Which is even better. Like this Red Sea did a great job on this tank, and it's an absolute upgrade. And even the seals are thicker. Yeah, it's definitely an upgrade compared to the last tank. So we were very fortunate to not have like a major disaster on our hands, and what a sharp eye of Tommy of Tanknicians to be able to see that crack in the aquarium and realize that, you know, that could be a potential problem. And we were able to, you know, move fast and be able to get those fish into an aquarium, a temporary aquarium, and keep them happy in the meantime. We really did avoid disaster here. All right, let me know what you guys think about this whole situation down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Until then, I'll keep you posted
updates and stuff, how this tank progresses, because I think the future of this tank is bright. I'm really excited to like load this thing up with coral. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.